let's fade to black. Okay. Going live in 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for December 18th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, is Skibbity Toilet still popular with the kids because they're putting it in Fortnite? But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Sean, TurboShawn McDowell. Sean, how are you doing?
Is that why you brought one of the GB kids in? Because I hate to disappoint you, Jeff. I don't know what the hell any of those words meant. I think you know less about Skibbity Toilet than I do, actually. That's right.
Yeah.
I learned about that from you like a month or two ago or whatever.
That's right. We're letting Lucy take it easy today, so you jumped in for us. Now, how are you doing?
I'm good. A little tired. We had a very busy week last week that I'm still catching up on sleep from, pretty much.
Yep, absolutely. Didn't really have I mean, we went to Universal, so of course we did some fun stuff on the weekend. But,
people can see my little plushies back there. I got them in my background now. Little snowman Mario and stuff.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Marty McFly Hello Kitty is like on my shoulder right here.
Yeah, that was very cute. I had a good time, but no real weekend where it's like we could just take it easy or take care of stuff. So we just hopped right back into this week, and so I'm feeling a little bit exhausted, but feeling good. Like, it was a good time. I felt like we got a lot done out in Los Angeles. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. We did some good shows. I'm proud of what we did with the countdown stream. I think you did a fantastic job hosting at night, and we had a really fun time doing our Game of the Year discussions. All 4 days of them, back to back to back, is how we recorded them. But that was a blast. I'm glad we like we've been teasing, we went back to more of an old school format for the top 10 too. That was a really good discussion. I think a little debating, a little arguing sometimes here and there, but I think at the end of it, we were proud of what we put together. We had a lot of fun doing it, and we were all cool afterwards. So you know what? It's all good stuff, right?
Yep, absolutely. It was definitely something that I was happy to get back to. I think of the Game of the Years I've done here, I don't think we've really done that style. I think we immediately went into the Eurovision style, and I part of me I think prefers this way of doing things.
Right, because at least that way, if there are things that we want to debate, like I won't spoil it for anyone, but like we had like you and me in particular had kind of a heated discussion about one of those things, but we talked it out, and I think doing the Eurovision style, we wouldn't have had that discussion.
Yeah.
And I think having that discussion for the people is better content, and it it gets us in the mindset of how we want our list to look and everything. So I think it was better overall.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad we get to have those conversations. I think they're the conversations that listeners we're going to have like in the comments or whatever, but now they can just hear us have it. So, and it was like, oh, well, asked and answered. Yep, looking forward to that stuff getting out there. Looking forward to having some time off here pretty soon as well. That'll be good for the holidays. So those podcasts will go up Christmas, New Year's. Look out for all that stuff during those weeks. It'll be 1 week to another. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You could also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with November 2024 U.S. video game sales. This is from Matt Piscatella at Circana. Let's just hop right into it. He posted all this on Blue Sky. I'm just copying it from that. Projected November 2024 U.S. consumer spending on video game hardware, content, and accessories fell 7% when compared to a year ago to $5.8 billion. Year-to-date spending is flat last year, which, we'll get into the details here pretty quick. The falling 7%, not too alarming because last year's November had a new Call of Duty. This year, that Call of Duty came out in October. So that was going to be a little bit of when you compare from one year to the next, that was always going to be difficult. And then the fact that year-to-date spending is flat through this point of the year is actually much better than what people were anticipating. So things are pretty okay for video games overall. But yes, total video game sales down 7%. Video game content is where most of those losses were at, down 9%. Again, that was because Call of Duty came out in October last year, or November last year and October this year. Video game hardware was flat. And then video game accessories were up 4%, so not too bad. Let's see here. The November spending decline was driven in part by the debut of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 in October this year, while Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 3 launched during the November tracking month a year ago. Video game content spending dropped 9% versus a year ago to $4.5 billion. Growth in mobile and non-mobile subscription content spending was offset by dips across other areas of content. Console content spending was the biggest contributor to the decline, falling 29% versus a year ago. Here's something worth noting, that non-mobile video game subscription spending grew 8% when compared to a year ago. That's because of Call of Duty as well. So apparently that really did have a pretty big positive impact on Game Pass, and at the same time the game sold very well at retail. So they kind of got the best of both worlds with that one, huh?
Right. And that's, I think, what their strategy is in general moving forward, as we look to stories about them not wanting to keep as many things exclusive anymore, if anything for that matter, because this is what I've been saying for a long time. They get all the money. Like, maybe things look different in the near term, but yeah, if you can get your subscription to grow while also getting the traditional model over there on PlayStation, it's kind of a win-win, right?
That's right. Yes, I mean that seems to be where they're headed. We talked about it on Bombcast yesterday, that there was the story going around that they're done with exclusives. If anything, they have timed exclusives like Indiana Jones going forward. Seems like they're going to pull off that Band-Aid and just do that. Yeah. And then the result is probably going to be mostly positive for them, where, the people that are into Game Pass now, most of them likely won't just abandon it to go like, well, then I'll just go get a PlayStation and buy the games there. They seem to be happy with this way of doing things, so they can maintain that, maybe grow it here or there with something like a new Call of Duty or a massive new Game of the Year game maybe that they might release. That could still grow that side of things, and then everyone else could just buy those games on Steam and PlayStation or Xbox, just get the retail copy, and it's
options, and options are good for the consumer, even if you might feel a little weird if you've invested in an ecosystem, but I think we've sort of taught that one to death at this point. It's ultimately going to be good for everyone.
Absolutely. From the top 20 best-selling games of the month, Call of Duty was number 1, Madden NFL 25 number 2, EA Sports Football Club 25 at number 3, EA Sports College Football 25 at number 4. It jumped back into the top 10. Apparently, some sales helped with that. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, number 5, after being number 2 last month.
Still hanging around, though.
Oh, that game's selling very well, yes.
Yeah.
Super Mario Party Jamboree, up to 6 after being number 7 last month. Mario and Luigi Brothership actually sold less than Super Mario Party Jamboree in its second month.
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi Brothership, new release at number 7. Yeah, I mean... I think you'd like to see it maybe be above there in its first month, like its debut month on the chart, but no, couldn't. And it's never sell as well. Doubt. Yeah, not as well as Mario Party.
Against Mario Party, yeah, in any metric for sure.
Yep. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations was number 8, number 9, NBA 2K25, and number 10, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, after being number 6 the month before. So that one's also still hanging around. I know there's some questions about has that game hit. It's clearly not hitting as hard as it possibly could, but still being in the top 10, I suppose, is something of a good sign. And then the other new games, Dragon Quest 3 was number 12, and My Sims Cozy Bundle number 19. So there you go.
Mike Benai's favorite bundle.
Yes, exactly. He loves cozy bundles. I don't know. Any big takeaways from this month?
I mean, it's good to see Dragon Quest there, I guess, relative to the scale, because this doesn't quite say, a number. I don't know how much, but it's good to see an old school RPG, at least in the top 20 there, relative to everything else. That's cool. Marvel, is there at the bottom at number 20, MVC collection. So it's good to see people picking that up. I think also because of sales and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
I think maybe nothing too surprising this month, though.
Yep, same. For year to date, EA Sports College Football 25 still the best-selling game of the year. There is more to that. We'll get to that story here in a second. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 repeated as the month's best-selling video game, ranking as the number 2 best-selling game of 2024 year to date. Price promotion helped several titles make gains in the November sales rankings when compared to October. That includes Madden, EA Sports FC 25, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which is number 14 on the chart. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl debuted at number 6 on the Circana Player Engagement Tracker monthly active user chart on Xbox Series during November, while also ranking 9th on Steam. The title launched as part of Xbox Game Pass. November video game hardware spending was flat when compared to a year ago at $927 million made across all the hardware. 15% spending growth on PlayStation 5 hardware was offset by a 29% year-on-year drop in Xbox Series spending and a 3% decline in Switch spending. PlayStation 5 Pro accounted for 19% of total PlayStation 5 units sold in the month and 28% of the dollar sales. So that's probably around what the expectations are going to be for PlayStation 5 Pro.
In the long run, PS4 Pro was it 10%?
10%,
yes.
Right?
So starting off at 20 and then it'll eventually peter out. That sounds right.
It'll peter out, and it's got the late start. Like there's already a ton of PS5s out there, and there was already that sounds like that's how you get to a end of generation split around 10% by starting off at 20%.
By the way, before I forget, chat, remind me that the MVC collection got its physical release that includes a comic book in that month. And so those sales are probably accounting for it going from 87 to 20 on the chart.
Yes, exactly. So it was number 87 the month before, jumped up to 20. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Anything else worth mentioning? The DualSense wireless controller Midnight Black was still the best-selling gamepad in terms of dollar sales for the month.
Because those things break like crazy, and people want the black one because they want a white controller.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. And actually, this might actually be the first month in a while where the DualSense Edge wasn't the number 1 selling thing in dollar sales, but this is the kind of thing that does sell really well during the holidays. A just typical controller.
Yeah, you pick it up as a second controller for like the new console you're getting for yourself or for someone else. Yeah.
That's right. All right, so let's get into some of the other stories from this. Nintendo Switch has now outsold the PlayStation 2 in the United States. This is from My Nintendo News. The official United States hardware and sales tracker Circana has revealed today that the Nintendo Switch has finally outsold the dominant PlayStation 2 console in the United States. The Nintendo Switch family of systems has now shifted over 46.6 million units since launching in March 2017. This means that the Nintendo Switch is now second only in the United States to the best-selling Nintendo DS console, which proved to be a force to be reckoned with. This is the quote from Matt Piscatella. Lifetime unit sales of Nintendo Switch have now exceeded those of PS2. With its 46.6 million units sold life to date, Switch now ranks second all time. I don't know if he put out a number for what the DS is at in the United States. It's probably not too much more than that, but I could see it around 50 million maybe in the United States. But hey, the Switch outselling PS2 just in one country, a major market like this, that's impressive.
Yeah, it definitely is, and not too surprising, frankly. The Switch has been a bit of a phenomenon, right? And it feels equivalent to when the DS was around, and you saw it just absolutely everywhere. And the PlayStation 2, of course, was just in most homes across the US at that time because people want a DVD player. And so it's impressive that Nintendo is still keeping this momentum going with a dedicated gaming handheld that doesn't really do anything else. Like they're even closing some media apps on that platform. So the fact that it is just a dedicated video game console that you'll pick up for yourself and your family, or you'll buy a light for the kiddos to play like Pokemon and stuff on. They're doing really well with it, and I think we're seeing the results here.
Yep. I mean, God, even the Wii had a benefit of that media stuff, right? Where it's like that was what a lot of people watched Netflix on. And the Switch just
Yeah.
doesn't have any of that, really. I mean, I guess my
No.
kids sometimes watch YouTube on it, but that feels unnatural.
Yeah, like so many discussions have been had before, just smart TVs and Chromecast, if
Right.
nothing
It's
else. Like
pointless
everyone
now.
has a million ways to watch that stuff already, so you don't need it. So yeah, the Nintendo focusing on that stuff, I think people gave them some crap early in the generation. Even I thought, man, this is a little bare bones, guys. You could put like an apps page over there, like the PS5 eventually got, but nope. They focused and they put out a good product, and this is what we see afterwards.
Gotta say, as much as smart TVs are ubiquitous, I used YouTube TV on PS5, and boy, that just
Mhm.
works way better on a very powerful console than on a
Oh yeah,
TV.
when you got like insane hardware behind those streaming apps, like I still, because I have my PC hooked up to my TV, I'll oftentimes just like fire up. Even sometimes you can get the TV versions of apps in your web
Hmm.
browser, and I'll just do that using my computer because all instant and snappy. But
Yes, instant
yeah,
and
you're
snappy. That's what I was surprised
you're
by.
you're right. Using a console has always been the better way to do that, even since like the 360 era when those smart TVs first started to like hit the market, and they were slow, man,
Hmm.
but,
Yeah.
using my 360, that was nice and snappy there in, like, 2012 or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. I even with that being the case, I still just kind of use the TV because it's more convenient. But I'm lazy. What
Yeah.
am I gonna do?
Yeah, we know.
EA Sports College Football is now the U.S.'s best-selling sports game of all time. This is from James Batchelor at
Mm,
GamesIndustry.biz. Electronic Arts College Football game is now the biggest-selling sports video game in United States history when it comes to dollar sales. That's according to the November report from Circana, which also reports EA Sports College Football 25 is among the top 50 best-selling games of all time by the same metric. It is also the biggest-selling game of the year so far in the United States. Price promotions drove the title back into the top 10 of the monthly charts, beaten out only by Madden NFL 25 and Call of Duty Black Ops 6. The latter was cited as a key factor, blah, blah, stuff we already talked about. Yeah, hey, this game really did just pop off in such a massive way and continues to sell very well. But boy, in that first week, it kind of raced to the top. It was the best-selling game, I think, the instant it came out, the best-selling game so far of 2024, and it hasn't relinquished that even with a new Call of Duty coming out, which
yeah.
we don't get numbers from Circana. We don't really get numbers from these companies, but in the past, a Call of Duty comes out, it's instantly the number one best-selling game of the year, unless there was a Rockstar game. So the fact
Right.
that EA Sports College Football was able to maintain that just shows it was a massive, massive seller.
Yeah, very impressive. I guess I'm kind of unfamiliar with why this phenomenon has been happening. I've just been hearing about it
Right.
happening. Do you maybe want to give an abbreviated version of like why this would be the case?
Yeah. So college football went away with EA Sports NCAA football in 14,
Right.
which came out in 13.
Yeah.
And that went away because there was a lot of issues with NIL, like name, image, and likeness, where that stuff the companies weren't allowed to use that stuff back then.
Hmm.
Since then, there have been some Supreme Court cases that have opened that up, and now college
Mm,
players can get paid money for their name, their image, or their likeness. EA
okay.
has made an agreement with all the players that are in the game to legally use that stuff. They were able to bring it back, and there's been this dearth of college football games for 10 years.
Right.
At the same time, that college football, which was already massively popular in the United States, has only gotten more popular and more ubiquitous because the college football playoffs have happened, and now we have an expanded college football playoff this year with 12 teams in there. So it's bigger than ever, a massive industry, and now this game is there to capitalize on it. So there was this pent-up demand, and this game just
Okay.
absolutely hit hard right at the heart of that. So
Yeah, because the game is very good from everything I'm
yeah,
hearing.
it's really solid. It's an EA Sports game. There's going to be some parts that are less than, but
Mhm.
overall, it's a really fun football game. So I thought they did a very good job with it. I enjoyed playing it myself.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, let's see here. Sticking with these stories for a little bit, Switch 2 is projected to be the clear winner in the next console generation. This is from Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life.
What kind of
DFC.
crystal ball did you have to look into for this one? Eh?
Yep, yeah. This is one where it's like, well, I'm sure this is maybe the safe bet, but who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, let's hear them out here.
DFC Intelligence, a long-standing research and consulting firm for the video game industry, has projected that the upcoming Switch 2 will be the clear winner of the next generation console generation in its 2024 video game market report and forecast. The report states that the Switch successor, due to be officially announced before the end of March 2025, is projected to sell between 15 and 17 million units in 2025, provided Nintendo is able to maintain a healthy supply. Looking ahead further, DFC states that it will likely reach 80 million units by 2028. As for the competition, DFC predicts that both Sony and Microsoft should release new systems by 2028, but says that only one of them will be successful. It refrains from specifying which one at this point, noting that the hypothetical PS6 would have the advantage of a loyal base and strong IP, while Microsoft has the option to pursue alternative software and distribution models. Okay, I mean, if we have to sit here and make our bets today, this sounds right, but who knows, right? Oh, what's up?
The whole only one Xbox or PlayStation will be successsul. I wonder which one.
I know.
Meanwhile, Microsoft's over here with the "this is an Xbox" campaign. Gee, I wonder which one they're talking about.
Yes, it's probably God. We get it. We know what's going to happen there, basically.
Yeah.
And then I think, the Switch 2 sort of comes out and is just what everyone expects it to be. And then there's a new 3D Mario and a new Mario Kart and a new Animal Crossing and all these things, and then maybe one or two surprises. This thing probably does race to 80 million units by 2028, which puts this system far ahead of like where the PS6 is going to be launching in a few years. Although not that matters all that much, right?
No, I don't think so. This is all just so funny to me because, of course, a Nintendo that is doing well is going to do better than the competition because of how entrenched the brand is, and that's just always the way it's been. They've fluctuated. They've made big old mistakes in the past, certainly. But when Nintendo is firing on all cylinders, they do shoot ahead of the competition, as we saw with the DS and the Wii, and now with the Switch and everything. It makes sense. It's just going to happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the chance that they beef it. They get something wrong. The
exactly
console is less exciting than people realized, and then you look around in 2 years and man, people are not talking about the Switch 2 the way they talked about the Switch. Maybe people are just over it. They're just play Mario Kart still.
As a sequel, unless it does something revolutionary, like the PlayStation to the PlayStation 2, it's going to sell less than the previous console, for sure. That just makes sense as well. It's that way anytime you have a sequel to something. But as long as they're not going, down a Wii to Wii U route where it's hard to convey what the product is, then I think they're going to be perfectly fine. Because if it's more of the same and you just say, if you just make it very clear, it's so powerful and it runs these new games that your old thing doesn't run, and you just, make that marketing very clear, it's still going to perform very well because people want the new Nintendo thing. And in the long run, as the systems go down in price and everything, they're going to say, my kids want the new thing, and it's definitely going to be something I buy. If nothing else, because it's probably going to be cheaper than the competition too, at least in the long run.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's entrenched advantages, right? Where it's having a Mario, having Mario Kart, having Animal Crossing, these games that there are subcultures built around that people just want, like Mario Party. Like, this is just what the family gets to play video games. Here's the new one. Oh, the new one's on the Switch too. I guess it's been a few years since we got a console, and it's only this much compared to that. But you're right. All that stuff is just built in. And then, very quickly, the advantage becomes, and that's where Pokemon is. And it's really hard to overstate how important that is. And it's that is an automatic several tens of millions of consoles sold because of Pokemon. So
yeah, Pokemon alone is such a wild advantage to have because we talked the other day about the most it was when we were doing Astrobot speedrunning, and Jordan was here, and we were the most overrated video game series. I think about that one a little bit, and you and Dan instantly said Pokemon, and me and Jordan were like, no, it's not Pokemon, because Pokemon fans hate Pokemon.
Right, so it's properly rated. Yeah.
We just buy it anyways. But and I think even if the parents who are going to be buying consoles in the next decade here are now from our generation, and it's like millennials buying consoles for their kids, and obviously we are much more knowledgeable as a generation totality of video games, and it's not just, we know Mario, and then after that, it kind of peters out a little bit. No, people who are in their 30s and 40s are aware of video game culture in general, as well as even the casuals are they know Mario, they know Mario Kart, they know Smash, and so they will instinctively think to themselves, "Oh, the thing to get for my kid is going to be a Switch slash
Mhm.
Switch 2."
Yep.
So that's yeah, all the advantages there to Nintendo. But that's why it's, I think, impressive that currently the PS5 is doing as well as it is because it's selling to, I guess, a different market in general and doing very well there. So I think that's also why that would be the console to watch between the two Xbox and Xbox and PlayStation in the next generation.
Yep. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about Amy Hennig's Marvel game, which we have not mentioned in a little bit. We'll do that right after this. All right, let's get right back into it. Amy Hennig reveals new Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra details and a little bit of concept art. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. Amy Hennig has shown off new concept art from Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra and discussed new details about the forthcoming game. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra was revealed during an Unreal Engine showcase at GDC in March and stars Drew Morlane as Captain America and Carrie Payton as Black Panther, with a release set for sometime in 2025. It led us to a bunch of interesting things, Amy Hennig told Entertainment Weekly, one of which was not only to tell a story about a young Steve Rogers who's still trying to find his feet, as opposed to the more seasoned guy that we've seen in a lot of the films. It also let us introduce a new Black Panther of 1943. The development team, the development team, Skydance Games, is being led by Amy Hennig, the director of the first 3 Uncharted games. It led us to tap into all the things that I love, all of the wonderful tropes of the World War II era adventure films, classic men on a mission movies, and all of that, Hennig continued. There's a lot of intrigue in our story, a lot of twists and turns, fascinating characters, and interesting locations. Hennig also debuted new concept art from the game, which shows a glimpse at the jungles of Wakanda in Marvel 1943. I might have that, but I guess, Sean, I'm like trying to let myself start to get excited about this one because I suppose it's starting to feel real. And I'm someone who didn't ever like fully fall in love with the first 3 Uncharted games, but then I played Uncharted 4 and I was in a different mood, and it really hit pretty hard. And I know that wasn't her as much, but it's definitely built based on some of the stuff that she laid the foundation for. I think I'm just in the mood for a big adventure game these days. Coming off Indiana Jones, this sounds like it might be right up my alley. It sounds like that's what they're going for. How about you?
Is this a safe space where we don't have Mike here so we can say that, yeah, the Uncharted games aren't as great as he thinks they are?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, he's still going to get mad at you, but yeah.
Okay. I still like them a lot because I grew up a big Tomb Raider fan.
Sure.
But they're kind of all the same game, just they got prettier.
Yes, and I think that's what Uncharted 4 was just so pretty I couldn't help but like it.
Yeah. No, I did like playing the Uncharted games a lot back in the day. I do think 4 is maybe the one that hit the most for me. And so I know what you're saying there. It's why I'm really looking forward to playing indie here a little bit here. But yeah, this game is interesting because the fact that I didn't hear about it at first because it was revealed at that Unreal Engine
GDC
showcase thing. Yeah, and I was like, why would they be showing it there of all places? And then you watch it, it's like, oh, this game is pretty.
Yeah, it looks
That's
real
why.
good. Yes.
It looks real good. And yeah, assuming that this is, just like all in-engine real-time stuff, even if it's cutscenes, dang, that looks good.
Yep. It's I hope it comes out
next
next
I didn't
year.
see that key art yet. Wow.
Yeah. This is the concept art of one of the jungles in Wakanda. And yeah, looks very cool. But at this point, it's like, man, I really still don't fully know what to expect from this game. It also feels like Marvel games are so treacherous for these developers, where they put a lot of money into it, and will they hit? Will they won't? Or will they not? Will they miss completely? The most recent example of Marvel Rivals is something that hit very hard. But this is going to be very different. But I don't know. Maybe that changes people to be in the mood for, well, I've been having fun with these characters in this game over here. What else can I do? And maybe this game will be waiting for them. That sort of situation. Yeah. It's hard to say, but either way, I'm glad that Amy Hennig got to make a video game. It's been a long time, and
right.
And it'll be nice to hopefully see this next year.
And if this game is going to carry maybe some of the legacy that she worked on, and having more of like, say, the PlayStation cinematic game feel to it, I think a game that is MCU coded is a very good choice for that, because that's kind of how those movies have always felt to me. And so I think this is a good fit together, right?
Yep, absolutely. I think it's a good fit and has the potential to kind of be the game that people were kind of always hoping they would get from a Marvel video game. Obviously Spider-Man has done exactly that for a while now, but then I think people say, okay, now we're going to have a Captain America and Black Panther game, and they imagine probably what this is going to be and not necessarily what Marvel's Avengers was from Square. So
yes,
I think there's a chance for this one to do very, very well. It could be next year's Indiana Jones, right? That there's a real possibility that that's how this goes down.
Next year?
Well, okay, yes. Next year's Indiana Jones could just be Indiana Jones still for a lot of people.
Well, I'm not sure this game is next year. You know
I mean,
like,
apparently it's supposed to come out in 2025. You're right.
People say a lot of things nowadays, and we've seen no gameplay as far as I know.
I think I'm with you on that I will be very surprised if this comes out next year.
Yeah.
All right. Helldivers 2 gets Killzone cosmetics from Alberto Garrido at Game Reactor, winner of Best Development Game and Best Multiplayer Game at the Game Awards. Helldivers 2 is now in the midst of a new campaign to expand democracy against the new faction of the Illuminati, or Squids, as the Super Earth propaganda machine is already taking care to tell each soldier what the new Truth Enforcers War Bond and all, but it's time to call in some outside help. Arrowhead has just announced that it's the first official Helldivers crossover will begin, and it will be with Guerrilla Games' now defunct Killzone franchise. Helldivers will be able to equip Hellgast-inspired armor, which is hardly democratic, but that's another topic, as well as a cape, flag, and title badge, all based on the game. Plus the STA-52 assault rifle, which I think is also from Helldivers. From Killzone. This is weird, right? Killzone being the first one. I guess it makes sense from a point of view of the aesthetics are pretty similar, right?
So we're dressing as the Nazis?
Yeah, I think you're dressing as the Hellgast. Yes.
If you're dressing as the Hellgast?
Well,
okay, yeah, that does make this a little weird.
Turns out you dress as a fascist the entire time in Helldivers 2.
Well, but
yeah. I don't know. From the point of view of Helldivers 2 bringing in any game, what could they bring in? I guess Killzone just wasn't on my list because it's like, why would they want to remind people about Killzone? But hey, I
would have said that like if it was internal PlayStation, that's by far the one that makes the most sense to me.
Aesthetically, it makes the most sense, and I guess it'd be easy to do.
Especially if you're pulling from the first three rather than Shadowfall, once they went hyper futuristic. Like, because, Helldivers is more of that aesthetic, more of the, old-fashioned trooper kind of deal that they got going on there.
Yeah. Do you think, as Christian in chat is screaming, that
he's freaking out. I'm happy for Christian.
Do you think that this has any implication for the future of the Killzone franchise?
Hell no, Jeff. Like, if nothing else, I would assume that, I don't know, Shadowfall was a good game. It wasn't great. It wasn't amazing, but the Shadowfall was very solid, and I would love it if they continued in that direction. Like, it was a fun time. It had its issues, but like the old school Killzone was never really my thing, because if nothing else, it really contributed to that era being the gray and earthy brown tone era, on the PlayStation side of things. It kind of was to what Gears of War was a little bit, I guess, would maybe equivalent of what those games were doing for their respective platforms. I think the likely scenario here is Sony's just getting more comfortable with being like, hey, no, we have these old franchises, we're not doing anything with them, including Killzone, but that doesn't mean we are trying to put them in a little cage, a little box, and then bury them forever. You could still play around with that stuff if you want, other development teams that we work with. So, I mean, especially, like, I'm seeing Guerrilla going back to this, because, like,
right, no way.
Horizon's a hit, and it's certainly a much happier thing to put out there into the world in general.
And it takes up a lot of their time. They're constantly working on several Horizon projects. So, I think it's very unlikely that they take any of those resources and put it towards a new Killzone.
Yeah.
NVIDIA's new app is causing large frame rate dips in many games.
Cool.
So Kyle Orland at Ars Technica. When NVIDIA replaced the long-standing GeForce Experience app with the new unified NVIDIA app last month, most GPU owners probably noted the refresh and rebranding with nothing more than bemusement. Now testing shows that running the new app with default settings can lead to some significant frame rate dips on many high-end games, even when the app's advanced AI features aren't actively being used. Tom's Hardware noted the performance dip after reading reports of related problems around the web. The site's testing with and without the NVIDIA app installed confirms that across 5 games running on an RTX 4060, the app reduced average frame rates by around 3 to 6%, depending on the resolution and graphical quality level. The site's measured frame rate drop peaked at 12% for Assassin's Creed Mirage, running at 1080p ultra settings. Other testing games, including Baldur's Gate 3, Black Myth Wukong, Flight Simulator 2024, and Stalker 2, showed a smaller drop at most settings. But 3 to 6% is not nothing. That's like sometimes you can go from one GPU generation to the next and stay in the same stack, and that's the performance improvement that you get. It's like 5 to 10%. So that big of a hit is pretty rough. My understanding is what's happening here is there are AI features in the filters that you can apply to these games inside the NVIDIA app. The NVIDIA app brings all this stuff into one place. It also is the thing that enables you to upgrade your GPU using the app without having to sign in. So there's benefits to this thing. You're going to want it to work long term. Yeah, without having to sign in, thankfully, for once. I know. But that's nice. But apparently the filters app that you could apply to any game is just running in the background, and even when you're not using it, even when it's turned off, it is using resources and causing a big
I mean, those have always been there, but they haven't been AI powered, so they haven't been using the hardware of your GPU in the same way and to the same level. Yeah,
I mean, but when you have them turned off, presumably they wouldn't affect your game at all. So the fact that when you have them turned off now, it's actually hurting the gameplay. The recommendation here is, don't use the NVIDIA app until this is fixed. Go back to GeForce Experience, uninstall the NVIDIA app, or completely, there's a way to completely remove those filters from the NVIDIA app. That's another thing you can do.
If those are what's doing it, because those filters aren't going to be a game changer.
Yeah, you don't. I think I looked at those once and be like, no thanks, I'm okay. That's weird.
This has me wondering how well do those new Intel cards work on Linux? Because maybe I'm looking at making a new build. Maybe I just make the jump in both directions. Screw it. I'm getting tired of Windows. I'm getting tired of NVIDIA. What if I just, what if I let myself be the guinea pig and see how that goes? That's where I'm at right now.
Do a SteamOS build with an Intel graphics card. Yeah.
A slap either Ubuntu or because I wonder, do those work with Bazite? I know Bazite's drivers favor AMD, but I'm kind of wondering about that.
I bet they do, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not
I don't know. God, I'm just so tired of the PC space slowly being ruined by the major companies not understanding what players want. And like Nvidia is doubling down on all this tech bro AI stuff and everything. And it's like, we just want performance from the games, dude. We don't want all of this added tacked on stuff that your app is going to force on us and stuff. So if your app is bad, boy, that's a bad look, because we kind of need it for our stuff to work properly,
Yep. Yeah, for sure. They don't. We don't want it. We're not asking for this stuff, but investors certainly are, and that's what they're doing here, and it's also very frustrating.
NVIDIA has felt a little misguided for a while now, because one of the reasons I'm looking at those new Intel cards is they got 12 gigs of video memory on them instead of the 8 that NVIDIA keeps insisting that, that's all people need, so that's all we're going to put on there to cut costs for us and make higher profit at $400. I don't know. It's feeling like with my next build, I think the smart thing to do is to just wait and see what NVIDIA announces for their next generation at CES.
Series,
it's going to be the 5000 series here. Let me tell you, Jeff, if that 5060 that they announced, if they announce it there, has 8 gigs of RAM, I'm just going to say this company has no idea what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, that's fair. I really am addicted to DLSS. Well, I just need it on. I don't even think about it at this point. It's it'd be hard for me to lose that, but not even every game supports DLSS yet, so I guess
no. And what's important is that the alternatives are getting better.
They're getting better, yes. And Intel stuff actually is XLSS or whatever.
XESS. Which, if you believe their old marketing, should be ZSS. But God, I'm never going to call those Z.
Yep.
But yeah, even FSR is getting a lot better, which is important for consoles because that means the console players can have this really cool upscaling too. Even if it's not as good, that's really good to see. But yeah, the people who do testing, like Digital Foundry and stuff, they're saying that like XeSS, when properly implemented, like DLSS, is kind of similar quality. So
Yep.
it's cool that people are getting cheaper options that look good because the market leader doesn't want to do that right now. Which hey, I'm always trying to tell people PC gaming is not as expensive as you think it is if you're sticking around console specs and putting out cheaper cards like Intel is doing. It's a good look for them, and Nvidia having issues with their app here even is not a great look for them.
Yeah, I think ideally what comes out of this next couple of years is those Intel cards that are 250 just crush, just do very, very well. And that will sort of reset a little bit of the pricing in the space because the other companies will have to get competitive. And I think AMD was not forcing NVIDIA to be as competitive as they once were. And maybe Intel can force the issue a little bit. It sucks that we have to wait for Intel, but go ahead.
Yeah, AMD didn't care as much at a certain point, maybe because of the CPU market. They just overtook that instantly with gamers. So I think maybe they just didn't care as much about the GPU side of things because NVIDIA just, it's in everyone's computer. So they just didn't see the point in competing anymore. Yeah, shout out to Intel on those new cards. They're looking pretty nice.
Yep. Why is there an image of Mark Cerny talking about flopflation going around? I guess, PlayStation has posted a 37-minute Mark Cerny video, PS5 Pro technical seminar at Sony Interactive Entertainment HQ. Okay. Yeah.
I'd assume he would be talking about how teraflops aren't the measurement that people think they are.
Oh yes, and that number is they get bigger, but it doesn't mean what people think it means. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the only measurement of the performance of a piece of GPU.
Yeah, never really was that useful.
No.
Okay, let's see here. Last story I have written down: Skibbity toilets reportedly flushing into Fortnite this week. Hooray! This is from Blair Marnell at GameSpot. If it's in pop culture, then it's going to inevitably end up in Fortnite in some form or another. Now it's apparently Skibbity Toilet's turn to make an entrance into the popular Battle Royale shooter game. Fortnite leaker Spush FNBR, Fortnite Battle Royale, was the first to report that a Fortnite cross Skibbity Toilet collaboration will drop tomorrow, December 18th, with a Plunger Man skin with a Lego variant for 1,500 V-Bucks, as well as a Skibbity Toilet backpack for 600 V-Bucks and a pickaxe Plunger Man's plunger for 800 V-Bucks. The bundle for all three will reportedly cost 2,800 V-Bucks. Skibbity Toilet is the creation of Alexei Gerasimov, whose YouTube channel series debuted a series of machinima shorts depicting a war between toilets with human heads and the Alliance, people who have electronic devices in place of their heads. Earlier this year, Gerasimov reportedly entered talks with director Michael Bay regarding the Skibbity Toilet film and TV series adaptations.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. That's true. And I remember we did talk about that, but I forgot about it. Skibbity Toilet is the guy's head. Which head is it? The dude from Half-Life 2 in a toilet. And
yeah, which one is it the G-Man?
Is it G-Man? I think G-Man might be one of the other creatures in the universe. It is. The people are saying it is G-Man.
It's like G-Man.
Yeah, and so that's from Half-Life. And so it's a little weird that now Skibbity Toilet, which I think actually they are genericizing the face a little bit to bring it into Fortnite. That would be my guess, is like that would be the thing they have to change, because otherwise this probably would turn into a copyright infringement thing, and Epic wouldn't want it. But I guess Skibbity Toilet is maybe transformative enough that they feel comfortable doing that. And I have to agree, it's the most transformative work of art this century, Sean, as you and the kids must know, I'm sure.
I had never heard of this shit until you brought it up in that one episode, Game S Mornings. I had to look it up, like, what the hell is this man talking about?
Yeah.
And then we did that stream where it was in a game on Steam, and
that's right.
I just don't get it. The whole thing that they were explaining there of like this whole big universe of the toilets versus the humans or whatever.
It gets crazy. Like the first video. Wild. First video is just, and as Hammond of Texas is correcting here, and I appreciate this. The guy, that face in the toilet is not G-Man. It's a male City 17 citizen. just a random one. And then the
Okay.
G-Man does show up later as one of these giant like mechs, and I think he's like on a giant toilet or something
Oh.
like that, and he's got rockets on his shoulders. It's awesome. Okay, it's the way that like, so the first video starts with him just popping his head out of the video and singing the Skibbity song, and then by like the fourth episode, there's a giant war between like dudes with cameras for heads and these massive toilets flying around with rockets for shoulders. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know how much of that's going to make it into Fortnite, though. I just
Who cares? This is old news, Jeff.
Oh, what's happening
Christmas
now?
Mariah Carey is coming to Fortnite.
Well, really? You're right. That's way more
That's
important.
the good news this morning.
Is it
Hell
like
yeah.
the cover from her, like of her album? Is she in that outfit?
Yeah.
That's like maybe the most Christmas image that has ever been recorded by human beings. All right, that's
Hell
fantastic.
yeah.
Is that dropping tomorrow as well?
I have no idea. Someone just posted it from one of these leakers that I always see.
Okay, it's probably coming very soon. So it's already December 18th today. And they'll want to drop that here
Oh,
soon.
that better be a song in festival too.
Yeah, I mean,
there we go.
Actually, should be able to play it on the menus and stuff. One of the menu songs.
Yeah, Fortnite's back.
I think so. I think it might be back. All right, that's fun. All right, we'll find out what else Mark Cerny is saying and maybe talk about that tomorrow on the show. But I think that does it for the headlines on this episode of Game Mess Mornings. Let's get to the poll question, which I have over here. And this is from a long time ago.
2 weeks ago? What?
Yeah, it says 9 days, so not as bad as sometimes.
Okay.
Have you played Marvel Rivals? There it is. 29% said yes, 71% said no. That was 9 days ago. I suppose people could have kept voting on this. I think that number's just going to keep getting bigger, but that's pretty big, I guess, for a game that just came out. 29% of respondents of the almost 4,000 people who voted, saying that they have played this game. I don't know. I have enjoyed what I've played of this game, but when we were playing Call of Duty last night, I was like, I'm good with just sticking with Call of Duty for now. Is maybe how I'm feeling personally.
They fill enough of different niches that I think they can each stand alone. And I think a lot of people are going to pass on Marvel Rivals because of how much it is just Overwatch. And even if it's like Overwatch remix, basically. And I still find that very fun, especially as someone who felt a little burned by where they took Overwatch and then Overwatch 2 kind of being a mess. I think Marvel Rivals is a very fun time, and they're doing a lot of things right with it, like putting it out as free to play with a bunch of characters right off the bat. I think it's a quality game. I'm having fun with it, playing it with my friends, but I totally get if people want to pass because they felt like they've been here and done that,
Yeah, or even been there and done that with Marvel stuff for the last decade and a half, where it's like I'm just not excited about these things anymore.
That's true too. Yeah, people have Marvel fatigue.
Yep,
I get it.
I get it too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Jeff,
please.
Breaking news on this whole Fortnite situation.
Please,
I'm hearing that it's not just Santa Mariah; it is Santa Snoop and Santa Shaq as well.
Fantastic. Okay, that'd be great. I would like to do an Oops All Shacks. That would be fun.
Oops All Shacks would be good.
Santa Shack though.
He has Christmas grenades on his belt. What the hell?
That's just how he lives. That's just how he walks.
Okay. Nikki's saying we missed it. Shaq's not in the store.
Okay, now Nikki's saying wait.
Wait.
See.
Our Fortnite reporter on the ground may have their wires crossed.
Well, either way,
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. We are checking. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Nikki. Doing good work out there.
You know what? Then let's do this new poll question. Are you still playing Helldivers 2? Kind of curious to see how people are feeling about that. They've done a lot of updates recently, a lot of new stuff. So seeing if people are hopping back into there. We'll get the results of that and talk about it here on Game Mess Mornings on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, GB at Night should be on the Bombcast feed and the GB Presents feed today. The video should also be on the website. So if you're looking for that, go ahead and track that down.
Right.
It was a good time. Really enjoyed talking to everybody.
Definitely. Yeah. It was fun to watch.
Good. Glad you're able to make it. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was nice hanging out with everyone.
Also, speaking of Giant Bomb, we are going to play Marvel Rivals here in a little bit on the website.
Speaking of.
Looking forward to that. Oh, that's right. I got to make sure I'm updated because there was a big update, wasn't there?
It's a small download. It's a big patch, is what is like decompresses. It's very large.
Oh, it looks like it might have been updated already. It might be good. Okay, fantastic. So we'll do that. We'll have a voicemail dump truck this week. We're gonna try to get the first episode of Dan's new season of Blight Club going this week. So look out for all of that. Anything else I should mention, Sean? I can't remember.
No, I think we're pretty much caught up there. Apparently, Four Swords Fiesta is happening here on Giant Bomb, as well as a PlayStation showcase. I wonder how long that's been in this document, Jeff.
No, that's where it lives now. Four Swords Fiesta. Jesus.
Yeah, you haven't changed that in a while.
I have not changed that for a minute. All right. Sean, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Always a fun time, man.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.